Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Shotgun Reviews.
And let me start out by saying that Marvel, you have improved upon your last outing, but you still have no strings on me.
I should hit you. I really should.
Well, they
But I'm
don't.
gonna curb that.
I still got criticisms, unlike everyone else.
Okay.
Unless you guys do too.
As far as it goes, they're well designed. There's a lot of, well, like every movie today, there's a lot of reliance on CGI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This film does have more effect shots than any other Marvel movie.
Yeah. It is, but you have to admit, no. Well, it is an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And one of the things I liked is that, my idea of a sequel is that, it can be its own movie.
Yeah.
A good sequel does not rehash the original.
Yeah. Although the reason that it's not rehashing, this is what I've noticed. Even with the first Avengers movie, I was thinking, this is kind of following the formula of Transformers Dark of the Moon, which was released 1 year before the first Avengers. I mean, with the huge 40-minute battle in the city at the end. And then this one, Age of Ultron, was released 1 year after Age of Extinction, and it's about technology being designed to help save the world and backfiring on its creators. It's like
The difference is that is the actual origin story of Ultron.
Yeah.
Well,
It's almost like
backfiring on its creators. It didn't want to be compared to its creator, even though it was very much like its creator.
Yeah.
Had Tony's ego and everything.
It's like Marvel is saying, well, the Transformers movies are making $1 billion each. Since we're Marvel, we can copy that formula and make $1.5 billion off of it.
Yeah, but the difference is they actually do it well.
No, not as well as Age of Extinction. Well, not that it was particularly great, but although this one does have a villain that's up there with Lockdown. Talk about that,
try putting
Ultron.
This aside from somebody who has biases from seeing all these things. I occasionally just watch these movies, and overall, I don't know much about this stuff. But I think they're okay as they are for movies.
All right.
I probably know more about
accuracy
this.
to the characteristics of a character or a backgrounding where this all originated from, sure, I don't know that.
Yeah.
But as a person who doesn't really have a bias from that stuff, they seem okay. Sometimes they seem a little reliant on things that have been overdone, CGI, sometimes the way they portray characteristics of people or machinery. I mean, when I see this, I wasn't thinking Transformers. Well, okay, other than the fact that when I first saw Ultron's face, I was thinking this looks like Megatron from those Transformers movies.
Actually, it would be more of the reverse because that was Ultron's original appearance in the comics.
I know, but
Pretty
I mean,
close, yeah.
as a person who's not interested in either of those things, that was my first thought, just from imagery I've seen. But then when I start seeing it unfold, it starts looking like Terminator. It was a bad cross between
Terminator and
between the
Transformers.
Decepticons and the Terminators, and then there was actual sentience to it. It wasn't quite machine, it wasn't quite man.
It was sort of like an evolved form. Wasn't that I think that was the whole idea of Ultron.
And the thing was, in Ultron, they weren't ever really puppets. They were all extensions of him. In most cases where you got the Transformers, Terminator, you had a central hub that basically controlled everything. It was all... And they were puppet soldiers.
Okay.
Terminators had no sentience, but these things, they were all part of the same sentience. Not one of them was individualized or a puppet. It was just all the same damn thing operating all at once.
Language. Gosh darn it, the language. Yeah, to quote
Okay, so
Iron Man.
What's your What's the best part? What do you think is the best?
Probably the middle action sequence in the like with the truck and the train. That was the most enjoyable part for me. I mostly all I found in this movie was just entertainment value, and although there are some things that I do want to address that I have a bone to pick with.
For me,
the one in what?
Oh, I thought. Oh, never mind. For me, I liked the dramatic sequences. One of the things that the Marvel movies is pretty good at is that all the dramatic scenes don't really feel forced. Like
Yeah, not really.
You do get invested with the characters' dilemmas.
Except for the dilemmas
Sort of.
seem to lack some character in some places.
I also didn't care for the romance between Black Widow and
Really?
Bruce. But
Really? What?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, that was
I
kind of
actually
one of
liked
them I
that.
was referring to in
All
a
right, well.
cliche. You get this real sad, I can't do this, this will never work out, but we're still caring for each other. This is something that's been done in a lot of cheesy romance
Honestly, I
films,
thought it-
too.
honestly-
You can't really make an action film and then have this kind of brand of cheesy
Well,
romance.
you can't have a good film with just action.
I know
You have
that,
to
but
have
this
it.
was just cheesy romance. There was no real plot behind it. When you've got these things intertwined in a story, you have to make them flow with it. This didn't flow at all, and the characters that were having those romantic moments were just not convincing. They were corny.
Really?
Like, forget his name. Who had the bow and arrow? Just like
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye. Okay. Hawkeye and his wife. Their interactions just didn't seem believable at times. It seemed like they were kind of just reading the cue card or the script without putting the emotions into it robotically. Sometimes
see
they were
that.
like that.
I didn't see that.
Well,
Anyone
I
else?
was going to.
Did anyone else think? Okay, another thing I like. Okay, about the romance. Did anyone else think from the first Avengers film that it was going to be Hawkeye and Black Widow?
I kind of thought it was
They
going to
do
be
have-
that. I wasn't.
They did have pretty good chemistry.
Yeah.
Another thing I really liked about this film was that Ultron wasn't just the straight up villain. You know, he legitimately believed in his purpose.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing this for any form of reward or any real vanity. Except the ego that was already implanted in him by Tony.
And so, the way that he learns the line "There are no strings on me" is that he goes through like all the internet, and I guess somewhere along the road he came across Pinocchio and was like, I relate to that.
Okay, so the worst thing, what do you think was like,
The worst-
intolerable?
The worst thing was that it completely ignores Iron Man 3. And that's because at the end of Iron Man 3, Tony throws away the thing in his chest and blows up all of his suits. And from there you think, okay, he's given up on Iron Man for a while. And then at the end of the credits, it comes up, the message appears, Tony Stark will return, and you're like, all right, it's going to be like a big, awesome comeback for him. And then he's just a superhero again at the beginning of the movie. They don't even address the ending. And it doesn't even make sense either, because why would he blow up?
He never gave up being Iron Man. He, no, in the third movie, he kept building the suits because of the trauma he suffered. In fact, that trauma plays in this movie too. You can see how the thing that happened in New York, it really tore him apart.
Yeah, we do see that in one of the visions that Scarlet Witch gives him.
Oh,
That's about it, though.
Oh, for me, the worst part okay, when you hear this, don't assume what I think you're going to assume. What I really didn't like was how they um, the twins, and this is not against the characters. You see, in the original comics, the twins were mutants. That in fact they were the children of Magneto.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but because mutants haven't been introduced, nor because that's still owned by 20th Century Fox, so they had to cut, and that one felt a little forced, you know.
Okay.
But for the characters themselves, I did actually like them.
Yeah, I did too. Scarlet Witch, of course, well, we kind of already know this from the ending. She is going to be back in Captain America Civil War. I don't know why they don't just call it Avengers Civil War, since it's Captain America, Iron Man, and I mean, it could as easily be called Iron Man Civil War. Unless it centers around mostly Captain America, which we'll find out about. But,
what was in there was one other thing I really found, like, the end, the like at the very end, so the two things I had hoped for this movie, only one of them actually was like, yes, the Vision. Yes. I was like, that was the one thing that was one of the two things I wanted from this film, and thankfully they get it. The other thing was someone had to say Avengers Assemble.
yeah.
And right at the end, we think, and it just cuts out. I was like, no, you jerk.
What a tease, yeah.
Yeah. Nick, what was your
I bet they're gonna... I wonder if they're gonna bring out another battleship movie where yet again no one says, you sunk my battleship.
Oh.
Well, at least in the first one, someone did say, nobody's sinking this battleship.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Well, unfortunately, these movies like Battleship and Transformers and this, they all seem to look like they're using the same animations and sets.
Yeah.
They don't really seem to have diversity in their look. If you really compare all those movies together, the way they always look, the way they always move,
That's true.
they don't really have a lot of diversity anymore. What happened to movies where you could really tell there was a difference in this movie from this movie, even if they were produced by the same company? What
Are you
happened?
talking about the formula?
Well, I mean, it's not just the formula.
yeah.
I'm talking about, like, even the CGI animations, they all look like they're functionally moving the same way.
I wouldn't put it past
Because,
it. It's all the same
I
program.
mean, look at the way Ultron and his, other selves were moving in that animation, and then think about how everything moves in Transformers movies. The animations flows look very, very similar. They don't look like they have any diversity. It looked like you took the same animations and materials for the CGI. Because I'm a person who likes graphical stuff in video games a lot, and it looks like you basically take the same textures, the same skeletal structures, the same animations you used with those, and just reformatted them into a different shape. But other than that, they look very much the same.
So, any random thoughts?
I don't know. How often did you guys laugh?
I laughed a lot. I thought the humor was actually really good.
For me, it was kind of...
bunnies, please.
For me...
Also, I hope you're not playing Hide the Zucchini with Banner.
Oh God! No, I get the full meaning, because the zucchini is green.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Move along.
Just like
Move along.
Atari, if any of you know Toho out there.
I'm moving right along.
Okay.
Okay, so the first Avengers made me laugh my head off. Guardians of the Galaxy, it was exasperatingly unfunny. This one, it's sort of hit and miss. The one-liners are hit and miss. I mean, we do get like that age-old joke where a character says, "Is that all you got?" And then, wouldn't you know it, there's more coming, and Captain America's like, "Yeah, you had to ask, didn't you?"
cliche.
Yeah, that's.
There was. Do you remember?
There was, of course, everyone trying to lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. There was one scene. If you look, is one moment. If you look closely, when Steve is trying to lift the hammer, it actually
budges.
It budges, and Thor's like, "Huh."
Oh.
This is actually a reference to the comics that Captain America is worthy.
Huh.
Well, there's another thing that I think is kind of funny. Remember when he takes out the alcohol? The no mortal man can handle. He actually puts a bit in Captain America's drink and swigs it. Nothing.
That's because Captain America can't get drunk.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
literally can't.
I'll take that.
I mean,
as a fair point.
And, why would he anyway? He is a Christian, so...
No. I mean, the serum.
Yeah, that too, I know.
It's explained.
Well, I mean, the Christian thing also isn't explained. Remember, he also states just a bit towards the end, that the person who knew and liked all this stuff back from that age, pretty much back in the ice 75 years ago. The person you got now is adapting to new life, changing, and starting to like what he sees around him. He is leaving his past behind him, finally, so I'm starting to see him as more adapting to modern era and being able to live with things a bit more.
Yeah.
Because his visions were often of his past, what he left behind, all the stuff he wishes he could go back to, and then he suddenly realizes from those visions, what's around him isn't so bad. He can adapt here as well as he could there.
Did anyone else hope for a cameo by Black Panther?
Well,
I'm
not a huge comic reader, so...
do you remember the country, Wakanda? That has the largest amount of vibranium on Marvel's Earth. And it's ruled by Black Panther, who is, in fact, the first comic book superhero who's black.
Other than the Falcon?
He was the first African.
Well,
Falcon was the first African American.
Okay.
Black Panther is not American.
All right.
Well, that's an interesting concept to go by.
Yeah, but they did have a loot. Ulysses Claw. The dude who Ultron disarmed. Seriously? Nobody got that?
Disarmed. Aha.
Hey, what makes you think you're the only one who can make puns on this show?
Oh,
I didn't make a pun at the beginning. I made a reference.
Dude, throughout the movie, they already stuck enough puns in there. Do we need more here?
Okay, fair point.
So,
trailers.
Have we gotten there yet?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're quite there yet. I mean, I don't think we've completely addressed Ultron.
Oh yeah,
let's as start. A villain. Although you did mention that he's not just there to be the villain, but yeah,
that was the
he's
in the comics. Ultron, he was built by Tony Stark and Hank Pym.
Yeah.
To be the safeguard, but he saw the program as humans being so chaotic that the only way to create peace was to wipe them all out.
But then what is there? I mean, there's literally that paradox in there. He wipes out humanity, what's there left? It's pretty much him.
That's the answer. If there's no humanity, there's no chaos, there's no war, there's only peace.
That's right, yeah.
But peace basically means nothing exists. And then what about him and all of his other him?
Oh, you know how Vision sounds like Jarvis? They were, in fact, played by the same person, Paul Bentley.
Paul. Yeah, I know. Did you know that was James Spader using his own natural voice for Ultron?
I don't know who James Spader is.
He's related to Jimmy Spader.
You're going to have to be a little more clear.
Just tell him who he is.
He is Jimmy Spader.
Incident.
I don't know who Jimmy is.
He's known by both, but... Okay.
I don't know who that is.
All right.
Give him an example of where he might know him from.
I'm not sure. But
Names
Then
are
that's probably not going to help.
names are not my best
Okay.
suit. I would recognize his face if it was ever on the screen.
all right.
Or a character he's done, and likewise.
Alright.
Also, the other interesting thing I find about who's that guy with the mind crystal? Again, I don't keep
Vision.
track of names. Vision. Okay, Vision is interesting in the way they concepted his actual look. Because when you first see him come out of there, he actually does look like a human muscular structure. You know how when you often see x-rays of the human muscular structure underneath the skin?
Yeah.
Very much alike to that. I did like that design. That was one of those ones I didn't mind so much because it wasn't a cut and paste design look like Ultron and Ultrons and Ultrons. He actually looked like he had a pretty unique concept there. And he was basically,
It's like
neither for nor against things. He's still kind of considered a neutrality, but he understood what has to be done. He didn't want to end Ultron, but he needed to. He knew the difference is if something wasn't done, it's all done.
Yeah.
The ultimatums of decision.
All right. So, are we ready to wrap up then?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I was expecting this movie to be good, and it kind of was simply for enjoyment, but there are definitely things about it that I was hoping to see, like more connection to the end of Iron Man 3. But,
Iron Man 3 was the first movie of Phase 2.
This
Yeah, I know that.
also in some places seemed a little surreal to me. You know how you get a movie where it actually feels like there's some immersion to it? This felt like it played out kind of like, weirdly, like a video game almost. Some of the scenes that are what's going on, there's like very few plot points to really bounce yourself off of. And you can't really interpret a lot of it. There's very little information that's gathering up as you're going along. It did have a lot more action. It just seemed like there were a lot more fighting and a lot less background to the fighting.
pardon me while I make sure the camera's still going. It is? All right.
Okay.
So,
We up to grading?
yeah, I think so. I'm giving this a solid B-.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
kind of
man.
underwhelmed, but hey, it was kind of at least you came back from Guardians of the Galaxy, so all right. So
My balance would be either be a C or a B-. I'm pretty much in agreement with that.
I'm
That's
giving-
just trying to give some plot roll here.
I'm giving this an A+. I loved it.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Controversy in the car.
all right. So
You
I mean this.
you could try and beat me up all you want, but we
It's-
both know who will win.
And why do
Well,
you
this-
think I'm not offering to do that?
Well, the film. I mean the
I do
the
not have a
ratings
death
are.
wish, except on
I
Payday,
loved it. I
because
loved
I
it.
love Death Wish.
It's been the best film I've seen all year.
Yeah, I figured that. So ratings wise, the ratings have been pretty about as mixed as this. It has a solid 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought it was a solid following to Avengers.
All right. So I didn't see a whole lot of other trailers, although we did get a brand new one to San Andreas that I hadn't seen
We also
before.
got a new one for Jurassic World.
Yeah, I actually saw it and did a reaction on it.
Oh.
So, yeah, 6
Oh,
more
what
weeks
about,
till Jurassic World.
What about
I'm
some of the other
excited.
stuff we were looking at, like Pixel? What?
There was Pixels, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it'll be fun. What was the other one we were looking at, John?
Oh. God,
Let's
what
see.
was
We
it?
saw Ant-Man, where Ant-Man gets run over by
You know-
Thomas the Tank Engine.
You want to know the strangest
That's
thing about
awesome.
the strangest thing about that trailer is technically Yellow Jacket is Ant-Man. He just becomes Yellow Jacket after the death of Wasp, his wife.
Oh.
But what was that other movie?
Not sure you're supposed to tell me yet. I haven't read the comments. Comments. Why did I say comments? I meant comics.
Do you even read the comics?
No, not really, no.
Then what? Why do you care?
Well,
that is a point to take in.
Ant-Man is coming out on my birthday.
Oh, dude.
So, yeah, we'll see it on my
awesome.
birthday, yeah. I can't think of any others in particular.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to take Ant-Man seriously, but if you if you don't know the character,
it's not my choice.
If you have only ever heard of the character but not actually experienced the character, it's kind of hard to take him seriously. But when you do,
yeah. And there was Fantastic Four too.
Oh yes.
Was that one new?
Yeah, that was new.
Yeah.
Man, what else was that other movie we saw?
I have to admit, the only thing I liked from the original Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer movies was the actor who played Ben Grimm. He was good.
John, what was that other movie that we wanted to see that sounded good? It was a comedy of some sort.
It wasn't Pixels?
There was another one. I just can't remember the name of it.
All right, well, I better start writing down what trailers we got. But I think that wraps up Age of Ultron now. So we'll be back next week with Hot Pursuit, the new Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara, whatever it is, comedy.
All
right, good-looking woman. Now I remember. Wasn't it the new Mission Impossible we wanted to see?
Oh yeah, Rogue Nation. There was Rogue Nation. And Force Awakens.
Force Awakens?
Star Wars Episode 7. You didn't know that was the subtitle? Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens.
Wait, that had a trailer?
I'm already unhappy
yeah,
with
it's got a new one with Harrison Ford and Chewbacca at the end of it. You didn't see it?
No.
It might have been because it was one of the 3D trailers.
Bad. I'm gray and you're not.
Yeah.
Not a single gray hair, Chewie. Come on, you're making me look bad.
I saw that too.
Okay,
All right, let's